what blocks us is our thinking. Okay. It's not that my husband wants me to cook dinner. It's not that how my mom and dad raised me. It's not even Donald Trump that's blocking me. Okay. It's or where I live or how I dress or my age or my supplies. Those are all outside facts. Okay. Those things exist in our world. That's not what blocking. It's what I'm making that outside stuff mean, about my art.
You're listening to Brainwork Framework, a business and marketing podcast, brought to you by focus-biz.com.
Welcome back to another episode. With us today is Lynn Hardin, a certified life coach, retired principal, and mixed media artist. She helps creative women who feel stuck, scattered, or hard on themselves return to a consistent art practice that actually fits their real life. Lynn, so excited to have you on. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Chris. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Wonderful, and we're excited to have you as well. We always ask our entrepreneurs, tell us about your journey. What were you doing before that kind of led you into this? I kind of tease people a bit, but tell us more about that story.
Well, what I was doing here before, I was an elementary school principal in for 20 years, and I led 3 schools. And part of my job, besides, well, there's so many hats that you wear, mentoring teachers, certainly they're administrative and discipline and leading people, but so often, and I was also became a certified leadership coach at the end of my career. So I was helping new principals become certified. Here in California, you have to have of course, in California, lots of certification, but you have to have like a teaching, you have to have an administrative credential. So I was helping with that. And honestly, a big part of my job was coaching parents with their parenting and their children struggling, coaching teachers with students they were struggling with or curriculum, coaching students that were having problems with other students on the playground. What I didn't know at that time was life coaching. I actually left a year into COVID, retired. And for a while, I dabbled with being a leadership coach or being a coach for teachers, and then decided that it really wasn't where my heart was. And I got trained through a school called the Life Coaching School and with Brooke Castillo. And because I really believed in a lot of the tools that she offers, it's very simple, very clean way to coach. And since then, for the last 3 years, I have been a life and creative coach for artists or creative women who feel stuck in their practice, who have self-doubts about their art and themselves, and invariably find they're taking care of everyone except themselves. And lately, this last year, I've really honed in on the part of art or the creative process, which is called the practice, which is we're not trying to produce big products. We're not in a class learning a new technique. We imagine yourself in kindergarten when you're just making. And that's such a beautiful part of being an artist. And women invariably find a difficult time to do that. So, right, I have a course for that, and so I've been doing a lot of work in that area, just focused on the practice.
That is fantastic because in life, in the world, it can be challenging just to feel motivated. Sometimes we're feeling unmotivated. We think it's a discipline problem. Sometimes our energy isn't directed in the right area. But it seems that you've dedicated, your life now to helping other people find that spark again. And that can be a challenge, in today's world, I feel like.
It can, and it's very common, and not just for in art, it's very common to think it's a discipline problem. And here's the second one, it's a time problem. And I guess mindset was also a big part of being an educator. We tried to teach to have an open mindset and not a fixed mindset, which would be closed to new ideas. And in my coaching, our inner worlds create our outer worlds. So much of what I do is getting curious and observing, well, what are you thinking about this? And if we think it's discipline, gross, I mean, who wants to be more disciplined, right? I mean, it's like,
Hmm.
that's judgment and beating yourself up. And I mean, discipline. I knew what that meant as a principal. Nobody wants to have more of discipline and time, thinking I need more time. And the it's not that we need more time, it's we need to look at what our mindset is about it, look at what our thoughts are in this area, and get curious about them without judgment, and then reframe them in a kinder, gentler way that gives us the results that we want. Because what we think gives us the results in our lives. And if you're not happy with your results or especially your actions, we think it's something else. It's how I was raised, or it's politics, or it's the culture, or it's always some outside thing, but it's really an inside thing. And so it's such a honor to be able to help women and watch the light bulb go off and see them so empowered, realizing that I have the total power to change my life just by getting curious about what my beliefs are.
That is incredible because oftentimes we are looking for those external factors to blame and try to make sense of what's going on inside of us. Something that someone shared with me is perception shapes reality.
That's
And I think, that plays a part into how we feel about ourselves, our confidence, how we feel like others see us. And if we're always caught in that mindset, it can be difficult just to connect and communicate with people. But you're able to kind of get inside their mind to understand what's going on.
Well, I help them. I help them. I mean, sometimes I'll see it before they do, but like I had a client this morning and I thought we were going here and she completely surprised me. That's not what was there. It's like, oh, that was pretty cool. And I'm glad that I didn't try to impose what I was thinking. But it's the human condition. Something happens, all right? A circumstance, something factual, kind of boring, usually. Somebody says something, or I saw this a lot on the playground. They just say something, or you see something on the news, or you read something in the paper, and it's outside of you, and you have a choice of what you want to make it mean. But we have brains that are very much about status quo and keeping us safe, brains that are either seeking pleasure or avoiding pain. So our brains have a tendency, they're defaulted to the negative. They have a tendency to make outside circumstances mean something negative. And with that kind of negative thinking, negative perception, you're going to get negative results. It's not that anyone's misbehaving. This is the human condition. Does my women do this? Every human being does this.
And throughout your experience, yes, you specifically help women, but have you noticed specific similarities or differences between the challenges of what women are experiencing and men just throughout your professional career and life?
I've been married 32 years. But about 10, 15 years ago, we were really in trouble. I was treating my husband like he was a hairy, misbehaving woman. I had no understanding of men. And I have an estrogen soaked brain. And as a man, you have a testosterone soaked brain. We see and perceive things very differently. We are equal, but we are not the same. Okay. We're biologically, we're not the same. I went back and I took some courses from a woman about understanding men and eventually became a workshop leader. I was so encouraged by her work. And women don't realize it. When we don't even realize we're doing it. And it's cultural. We've been taught to do this. Like my husband and I'll see a commercial on TV and I go, yeah, there they go, making a man look dumb again. And
It's the typical trope,
so disrespectful. And what I know about when you see somebody as like you, but you're hairy and you've got muscles and you're not behaving like a woman behaves, I'm going to complain. I'm going to criticize. I'm going to try and take you out. And it's a form of emasculation. And I didn't realize that I'd been emasculating my husband. Of course, we're having problems in our relationships because he felt very disrespected, very unheard. Once I learned the differences, I've never gone back. I'm able to completely see, um, I can see my son as a man. I can see my grandson as a little man, not as a girl. I can see the behaviors. I love in my grandson, he's extremely competitive, which is a testosterone thing. And I love that about him. It's like I can see you're such a little man and he's very competitive. Whereas traditionally women aren't always competitive as far as getting points. Like even in kindergarten, he'll try to finish early and his buddy across the thing, they high five each other, whoever finishes first. A girl would not do that.
I wish we could have that in everyday life. Just people there to high five us when we do a good job or finish first. Like,
But culturally, sadly, the women of the Western world have been trained to take you out. Because if they don't, something scary could happen. Not realizing that 99% of all men want to help or want to be our heroes and want to take care of us and want to help. So that was an area that I was able to help change a mindset. And I've never gone back. I mean, I mess up every once in a while. I mean, I am human.
of course. But that knowledge prepares us and it just lets us understand how other people perceive the world. And when we better understand them, we can navigate those situations a little bit better.
Absolutely. Even how we talk, like, yes, absolutely. And something many women, if they're honest, when they watch a hockey game, they're not able to track the puck because our brain is not why. We were hunters and gatherers. I mean, our DNA and our brains have not changed since caveman and cavewoman times. So my brain isn't trained to do that. Whereas my husband can. As a gatherer, I can walk into a room and I can tell you immediately when something's out of place. And our joke is my husband will open the refrigerator and say, "Where is the orange juice?" And I'm like, "Well, it's right behind the milk." He goes, "Oh, it wasn't moving. That's why I couldn't see it." But if I had it because I have the brain of a cave woman who had to gather and had to understand where the best berry bushes were. Or, I mean, our DNA has not changed, just hasn't evolved. And that helps me in what I do now as a life coach because I understand the instinctual brain. I understand how, even for the last 100 years, we live in a very safe, here in Southern California is safe, a very safe environment. There's no reason for me to worry that I'm going to get eaten by a tiger or thrown out by my tribe or not have enough to eat. But I have a brain is scanning for those kinds of things. And when those things don't exist, it comes up with other things to be afraid about or worry about. And I'm into brain stuff. So being able to understand the brain and the differences has really helped me in as a coach also.
Absolutely. And that sort of insight just understands what is our kind of default setting for like the instincts. What is our default setting for when a situation happens? How do we tend to act? And that's our opportunity then to recognize that action and behavior. And we can either lean into it and just know how to direct it a bit, or again, we just kind of rethink our way of understanding so we can take a different action towards it. But all of that provides a better understanding for you to help people, so I absolutely love that.
Thank you. Yeah, to save my marriage because I started treating my husband like a man instead of like a hairy, misbehaving woman.
That's amazing. And while we were chatting before we started recording, you had this excitement about the workshops you've been putting together, and you're starting all the women that you have on the email list, and they're excited to hear from you. You're excited to put that material together. Do you mind expanding on that a little bit more about just kind of taking your marketing like, more seriously and really going into it?
Yes, I guess my marketing is I really do try to get in the heart and the mind of the women I know that are suffering out there. I really do try to understand what their pain is. And it's not that hard because it wasn't that long ago that was I had that pain also. And just I'm doing a webinar this Saturday that has to do with women who are feeling stuck in their art and can't move forward. They feel like there's some block. And there is, because there is something blocking. I'm going to help them get clarity about what that block is and then leave with Just one small tool moving forward with when they feel stuck again or they can't move forward in their art, what they can do about that.
I absolutely
I don't give it away because what blocks us is our thinking. Okay. It's not that my husband wants me to cook dinner. It's not that how my mom and dad raised me. It's not even Donald Trump that's blocking me. Okay. It's or where I live or how I dress or my age or my supplies. Those are all outside facts. Okay. Those things exist in our world. That's not what blocking. It's what I'm making that outside stuff mean me, about my art. And once you can get to that clarity of what it is that you're making it mean, and you get to make the decision, do I want to keep that? And you do, it's a choice. I'm not here to make anyone think like me or think the way I think they should. But once you can get to the root of what is really going on, because the brain is tricky, it will make you think it's politics, it's religion, it's my mom, it's my dad, it's my husband looked at me wrong this morning, it's that the dog bark. I'm trying to think of all these things were outside of us, but it's an inside job. It's an inner world, an inner thinking that is causing what I want or not want. And so once you go inward and look at is, well, what are your thoughts? What are your beliefs about this? Then we can get clarity about that and move forward to changing, looking at actions, changing actions, and get very different results quickly. Sometimes the beliefs, when we pull them up, they're not even true. When you finally see, it's like, well, that's not even true. I've been thinking that.
it was just their perception.
Yeah, it was a soundtrack playing in the background, like an old radio that you're not really listening to, but it is controlling what happens. For women, art, there's a belief there. And it's not it's not them. It's not a lack of discipline, a lack of time, or the dog. It's a belief, some kind of sneaky hidden in there. So we dig around, they dig around and find it for themselves. And I just ask questions.
And I do love that you focus on the root cause because it's not just about, finding some symptoms and curing the symptoms. You really have to go to that root cause to understand what's going on because this is a long-term fix for them.
Very perceptive because we are taught, I think, to focus on the symptoms or the actions and work all within, try and change our actions, not knowing that the way that it's coming from our thoughts. What happens is something happens and it's just factual. And like, let me give an example. Well, something happens is like a fact, like the cats need to be fed. The cats need to be fed. All right, that's just if we feed our animals. If I were to go to a court of law and the judge and jury would say, yes, cats need to be fed. That's what we call a circumstance. My husband would make it mean, he would probably make it mean, no big deal. I'll just feed the cats. My thoughts, let's give you an example. My thoughts are, I have to do it all. Why is it just me? I'm the only one that ever does anything. These darn cats. It's like, I have to do it all. That would be a thought, a belief. I have to do it all. Thoughts create vibrations or feelings in our body. And if I think I have to do it all, that's a very heavy, think that the feeling would be obligated. And obligated is a very heavy feeling. Can you imagine feeling obligated? It's hard to get any freedom there. And when feelings then drive action. So when you feel obligated, you might get resentful, you might procrastinate on the task. And then what happens is the result is you don't take care of yourself. You don't do the things that you want to do. So it wasn't that the cats needed to get fed. It was my thought, I have to do it all, that gave me that lousy result of not being able to do what I want to do in my life. I think I have to do it all. How could there be room for me to do what I want to do? So it's called the model. And that's a very simple but not easy way to get curious about one's mindset and to make shifts.
I love that, Lynn. That is absolutely fantastic. We'll have a brief pause here. We're going to have some more questions for Lynn. A brief promotion here, and we'll be right back. Some of the things that were resonating here was just the kind of the clarity, getting that direction. I had one of those moments about a month and a half ago, understanding what I was doing. I re-put together what my lead magnet, my offer was, and I put this into the growth engine blueprint. This is my experience of 12 years plus as an entrepreneur. I'm starting from the beginning, building the team, the processes, attracting, nurturing, converting, and amplifying businesses. So I put this together. I wanted to offer this free PDF download for everybody. So make sure you check out the links below for everyone to get connected. And Lynn, I wanted to ask, where can people find you and get connected with you and find you online?
I love to write. There's two places I would suggest. I'm on Substack as a writer and a creator under Make Art Be Happy. But I also have a website, Lynn Hardin, Lynn, and Hardin is Hardin. So they can go to my website and everything is there. I do have a free gift about how to do a 5-minute restart that is lovely, but also if you want to work with me, I have a course called The Practice. So all of that is there, but Substack and my website are the best places to get hold of me.
Wonderful. And we'll have those links available down in the show notes and the description so everyone can get connected with Lynn here. We have just a couple minutes left. I wanted to ask you, Lynn, what are you excited most for in 2026? It seems like you have a bunch of passion and fire and determination built within you right now. What's on the agenda for 2026?
I'm leaving for Scotland and Paris for April and May. And as an entrepreneur, you can do that because you have that kind of freedom and that flexibility. I'm very excited to start a membership that is centering around the practice that has to do with working with women who feel stuck in their art and want to expand on their practice and have creative time without judgment, have coaching questions. What I'm excited about, okay, there's Scotland and there's Paris, and then there's a membership that I am offering that has to do with the practice and being able to get unstuck and have some easy art practices and cool ways to be creative as often or as little as you want. And then also for the first time in a while, I've opened up some one-to-one opportunities to work with me directly with whatever it is that is heavy on your heart, whether it is in your art or a relationship or some aspect that you feel stuck. I am happy. I haven't opened up some spaces in a while, but right now I have some spaces open for that.
Well, that is very exciting. Looking forward to that. Lynn, we appreciate you coming onto the show and sharing your tips, tricks, and expertise with us. Congratulations on everything you're doing, and really looking forward to your future success.
Thank you. And you too, Chris. I'm excited for you. You are a rare breed, a successful entrepreneur, and I'm glad that you're helping others do it because it is an amazing way to experience life. Thank you for what you do.
I agree. Congratulations, and thank you so much for that. I appreciate it.
You bet. Take care.
You too.